This hour has 22 minutes.
Good evening. This hour has 22 minutes has acquired a report by the Department of National Defence that rates Canada's performance in the Gulf War. The report was obtained through the Freedom of Information Act. It says that the Canadian Armed Forces was ill-equipped for military combat due to poor communication between the Air Force and the Navy.
1-6, over.
Their vocabulary of engagement was different. In fact, many words and phrases used by the Air Force and Navy had different meanings. For example, the word bogey meant enemy to the Air Force, whereas to the Navy, the word bogey was a code word for ketchup. The Navy called this a 2-4, whereas the Air Force called it a case. And where the Air Force called drinking until unconscious a big drunk, the Navy called it business as usual.
The final chapter of the Tonya Harding saga came to an end in an Oregon courtroom this week. In a plea bargain, Tonya pled guilty to hindering the investigation of the attack on Nancy Kerrigan. Harding has been ordered to pay $160,000 in fines and perform 500 hours of community service. So far, no community in the United States has expressed any interest in her services. The court's ruling will end Harding's life as a figure skater. However, there's no word yet on how it will affect her wrestling career. Poor old thing.
According to a survey commissioned by the federal government, 40% of Canadians believe there are too many visible minorities in this country. Well, right on, guys. You know, I can't agree with you more. Hey, really, just think about it. All those immigrants coming over here, hard-working, productive, creating jobs, building their respectable homes and respectable communities. Why don't they just go back to where they came from and let the rest of us other Canadians who sprang out of the rocks, I guess, who never came from anywhere, who never exploited any natives. Yeah, let us ruin the country our way.
In an effort to offset his legal costs brought about by the recent Whitewater scandal, President Clinton has come up with a brand new type of fundraiser, the backwards mileathon. Clinton usually averages about a quarter mile a day, and at $1 a mile, Clinton should raise the $2 million needed around the same time as the NDP forms a majority government. Or you hear the term Senator Jag Bedoria. Or when Shirley MacLaine comes back as a pair of work boots. Or around the same time, Reverend Ian Paisley marries into the Kennedy clan.
Our new science editor, Miss Ina LaDrew, who has quite a deft hand with a scalpel and a frog, was out in the field last week dissecting the inner workings of Dr. David Suzuki.
Though Dr. David Suzuki and I are from opposite ends of the country, our lives have had some intriguing parallels. I, too, have labored long in the field of science. I, like Dr. Suzuki, am an avid environmentalist. I have taught general science at the elementary school level for over 35 years and have tirelessly dragged recalcitrant children to study bogs, to explore municipal landfills. I have stood up to my ankles in the icy waters of the North Atlantic, reveling in the intricate life system of a tidal pool, only to watch crazed, hormonally rancid 12 and 13-year-olds use the opportunity to empty their bladders. But can Dr. Suzuki's life be the unprecedented success it seems, or does he too have his darker moments? Let's find out. You've worked long and hard for the environment, and in the face of the cutting that's still going on in Clayoquot Sound, the decimation of the largest cod stock in the world, and the Alkine project that's now going ahead in your own province of BC, do you sometimes feel that your life has been a total failure?
Oh, I think that all the time.
There's a cost to beauty, and no one knows this more than this hour's very own Marg Delahunty.
Ow! Oh my, that smarts. No worse, I suppose, than a good stinging slap in the face, thank God for the nuns. Hi, I'm Mar Delahunty. I'm giving myself a treat, a spa day in the middle of Hungry March, a kind of late celebration of International Women's Day. What is that, International Women's Day? What do they think we are, a bunch of groundhogs? Every March, the international woman is allowed to crawl up out of her hole, and then if the international male doesn't give her a good smack up the side of the head, or otherwise molest her, she and her sisters are allowed to scurry rat-like through another year. We're 52% of the population, for God's sake. Every day is International Women's Day.
Time for your bikini wax, Mrs. Delahunty.
Oh, I struggle mightily to be nice. I don't like to give offense. I wear the strongest kind of foundation garments. But bikini wax? Can you imagine the pain involved in that? I'm not that nice. Let's face it, inside and out, I'm not nice. I'm big, I'm gruff, I got a mouth on me like a Martin Scorsese movie, but unfortunately I was a girl. And if you ever were a girl, you had to be a nice girl. 'Cause what were your options? You could be a bitch. And who wants to be that? Leona Hemsley did some very hard federal time in a penitentiary because she was a bitch. Oh, yes. This is all part of my rigorous health regime. Up to 26 ounces of hard liquor per week, according to the experts, if you want to stay in tip-top physical condition. Top me up, Ginger. Nobody can fly on one wing. Nice.
Earlier this month, Lucienne Bouchard spoke to the United Nations. For a follow-up report on UN response, we go now to our foreign correspondent, Tim McMillan. Hello, Tim.
Hello.
Can you tell us what was the atmosphere like at the United Nations? Can you tell us what kind of impression Bouchard made with his address?
No.
And why is that, Tim?
Well, I didn't exactly make it to the United Nations building. I did make it to New York, however.
Well, good. That's good. But weren't you supposed to go to the United Nations, Tim?
Well, on the way to the UN, I ended up in the St. Patrick's Day parade. I was actually up on the float with the chieftains, and they were playing Irish music, and it was really moving. And I started to think about my roots.
Aren't your grandparents Scottish, Tim? So no United Nations update?
Well, we all ended up over in the Bowery last night, and today, boy, by the time I finally got my bearings, the darn place was closed. And boy, was I ever angry.
Sounds like it.
Oh, and I saw Craig Oliver at the hotel bar earlier. Has he ever changed since getting that award? He used to be really friendly. But boy, can he ever pound those drinks. Well, look, I gotta go. Yeah, one of the chieftains has to use the phone. Okay, we're having a bit of a Kaylee session, they call it, up here in one of their rooms. Oh, listen to this. I brought my penny whistle. Pretty good, huh?
Yes, Tim. You're wasting your time in news.
Well, look, I gotta ring off. Earring go bra. That's Gaelic.
I figured as much. Thank you, Tim. We look forward to your reports whenever they arrive.
Everything must go. 4 days only. We will not be knowingly undersold. Hey, do you want a hanger? We got hangers. Do you want a church? We got churches. Do you want a runway? Heck, do we have runways? Do you want an airbus? We've got a luxury airbus. You want freedom? Go tell it on the mountain, brother, because it ain't for sale. The Department of National Defense Forces Base blowout sale.
This Hour Has 22 Minutes is proud to present media pundits Stuart Steed and Steve Steele with The Right Answer. Men, we salute you.
Okay, let's start it all off with rock star and Live Aid organizer Sir Bob Geldof goes bankrupt.
I don't know, Bob. When I give my time to charity, I take 10% off the top. Let it be a lesson to you. Famine relief, fine, but real charity begins at home.
It's called money management, Bob. Ever hear of it? Take a night course, read a book.
Hell, boy, read a pamphlet. Aboriginal Achievement Awards.
Must have been a very short program. What achievements? Most improved smuggling technique?
Most cartons of cigarettes in a Dodge Caravan? What?
Federal government plans to fingerprint all new immigrants.
You mean we don't fingerprint immigrants? Who's running this country? No, don't tell me. The immigrants. Bill Clinton mired in whitewater scandal.
Mired in hookah water scandal is more like it. There's a guy who doesn't need a powdered aphrodisiac. Scientists say ozone layer repairing itself quickly.
Figure it out, folks. It was never broken.
Worried about the big bad radiation? Do what I do. Use tinted glass in the limo. Order a Canada. We were both overlooked.
Yes, we were. I figured out why.
Why?
Take a look. Apparently, to get the Order of Canada, you've got to be bald. 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 Bald.
Bald and in a dress. And what about this guy? What's his field? Good and bad acid?
Breakthrough research in the tofu hot dog?
Or was he the co-inventor of the Birkenstock?
Hey, a little respect. I've got shares in Birkenstock.
Oh, touchy, touchy. Get up on the wrong side of the condo?
Yeah, they went up 24 points last year.
24 points, I'm green.
It shows.
I like it.
You gotta, and that's
the right answer.
The Globe and Mail recently reported that a survey conducted in Germany found that more than 1 in 5 German adults have hostile feelings towards Jews. For comments, we go now to a still reeling Mrs. Imelda Mitten in Smith Falls, Ontario. Mrs. Mitten?
No. You don't say. The Germans hostile to the Jews. Well, that is news. Bite my gums. What a gullible goose I've been.
Thank you, Mrs. Mitten.
All across the country, people are losing their jobs in primary industries. In an effort to check the problems, the federal government has upped its spending for retraining programs. Joining me now are Mr. and Mrs. Lowell and Gordon Pickle-Purcell. Mr. and Mrs. Pickle-Purcell, please tell us about your retraining program.
He used to be top gutter, but it's all computers with him now.
Oh, yes, it's all computers with me now. Fiber optics and floppy disk, laser printer, on-off button.
How were you formerly employed?
Well, like she said, I used to be top gutter in the fish plant, but I can pretty much turn my hand to anything. I built my own house, replumbed the Orange Hall, put a new slate roof on the church.
They don't want to hear about that. Tell him what they said to you. Listen to what they said to him, Sidney.
Well, they said the problem with me seems to be that although I do have skills, most of my skills would apparently be more applicable in a post-war economy.
And Mrs. Purcell, you've taken part in a retraining program as well.
Yeah.
Would you like to tell us about it?
Well, first they stuck me in life skills. I said to him, look, I got life skills. I'm after raising up 5 youngsters, I said to him. I knows how to write a check. What I needs to know is how to stop them from bouncing.
So, did they find another area to retrain you in?
Now they got me trained as a special palliative care worker. You know, easing people into the light. I'm top of the class. I says, go into the light and Buddy Day jumps.
It's too bad you're not on commission.
It's a friggin' boom market down here. There's no end to the sick and dying down here, Sydney boy, let me tell you. I guess that would be the silver lining on the whole failure of the fishery thing. But get on your nerves. Oh, wine!
In your opinion, has the money spent on retraining been worth it?
Oh, yes, Sydney, money well spent. It's all fiber optics with me now. They got me linked up with the Internet Computer Information Superhighway. I can find out what skills I have, what skills I don't have, what skills I have and will never need. And now not only can I check and see what jobs aren't available in Newfoundland, I can also check and see what jobs aren't available all across Canada.
Shut it about the GD computer!
Well, thank you both for joining us. And Mrs. Purcell, if the bottom ever drops out of the palliative care market, perhaps you could use that voice of yours as a cheese grater.
The following is a free-time political broadcast. On behalf of the Newfoundland Separation Federation, Jerry Boyle.
Hello, I am Jerry Boyle. People ask me, Jerry, have you ever been involved in a land deal scandal in which your wife was accused of shredding documents in order to help you out? Well, let me make it perfectly clear. It is not like my wife, in the very least, to try to help me out in any way, even if there was ever any shredding to be done. Not that she is not a generous person, but let's just say we are a couple that has not been in the habit of doing favors for each other over the past 13 or 14 years. In fact, I do not even know if she knows how to work a shredding machine. I know she can work a pair of scissors. I do know that. She once took a pair to my one good suit and left it in tatters. Another time, she took the garden shears to my turtleneck collection. But there has never been any shredding in order to help Jerry Boyle out of any scandal. That, my friends, is simply not her style. Even when they wanted bail, and I languished in a minimum security penitentiary on weekends, my wife, guiltless and true to form, did not enter the fray. So if there is one lesson to be learned from all this, it would be maintain your integrity, or possibly do not get your ex-wife's brother to represent you in small claims court. Until next time, I remain politically yours, Jerry Boyle. And remember, if you can mark an X, you are my kind of people.
Canada's tobacco industry has lost its bid to delay a federal order requiring a tough new health warning on cigarette packages this fall. The tougher warnings, such as smoking can kill you, must be 20% of the packaging and appear in black and white. For the visually impaired smoker, there is a $25 per package version that is available with a handy pull string warning.
Hey, dummy, smoking can kill you.
Okay, hockey fans, it's time to check in with Coach Peter Boom Boom McCormick and Coach Bob Nobby Spurl with this week's Hockey Notebook.
Welcome to Hockey Notebook. Get in there, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, listen up. Every week here on Hockey Notebook, we get literally hundreds and hundreds of letters.
Asking questions about the game that we call hockey. And the question we get the most, have the two of you guys ever coached a little kid all the way to the NHL?
Now that is a stupid question.
Because of course the answer is yes, many, many times.
And just to prove it's true, here all the way from the Washington Capitals, John Slaney.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Coach. John Slaney, what went through your mind when you scored your first goal in the NHL?
I own it all too.
You better believe it.
You can say that again.
What?
Say it again.
That I own it all to the Hockey Notebook?
Thank you, John. Final question. John, what is the most important lesson that we taught you about the game of hockey?
I owe it all to the hockey moms and the hockey dads the world over.
You better believe it. And if you don't believe it,
You're out of the game.
you have been watching
Hockey Notebook.
Face Off. Steel Cat backwards to the puck. Okay.
Well, that's the way we saw the world this week, and I believe it was William Shakespeare who said it best when he said, and quoting, "Happy trails to you, happy trails to you." I believe that was William Shakespeare. In any event, for all of us here at This Hour Has 22 Minutes, I'm Frank McMillan saying good night.
Good night. Hello. Have you ever dropped the good dishes on the floor or forgotten to feed the dog and he died? Oops. Maybe you stopped on the freeway looking for a stick of gum and caused a 10-car pileup and been blamed for it? Like it's your fault. Like you did it? Like everyone's looking at you? I hate that. So do I. By attending a one-day seminar of Dr. Mookie Owen's Multiple Personality Syndrome workshop at a hotel by the airport, you can learn how to voice the blame effectively on selves you didn't even know you had. You will learn to point to yourself and say, "She did it." Think of all the benefits of having a multiple personality. Lineups. Never get a bad seat again. Just send one of your other selves real early. Have to go to Mom's for supper? Just say, "Sure, we'll be there," and send a couple of your other selves. Sucky, stupid selves that like to hang around with parents. And they made me participate in satanic rituals such as eating human liver. No, it wasn't. Stop it. Well, it was from cows that once lived and had families, and they made all the chickens sleep in the barn together in a kind of a ghetto, a chicken ghetto. And they forced a rooster chicken to wake everybody up. Don't be ridiculous. Roosters like waking people up. Telling me that roosters had no feelings, so I sued them. You see, because I'm a lawyer and I'm handling my own case. It's wonderful. Just call 1-800-GIVE-IT now. That's 1-800-GIVE-IT now. Operators are standing by. No, they're not. Yes, they are. No, they're not.